How does one become a personal trainer and stand out in a crowded industry? Well, you cannot wait to meet my guest today. Her name is Karen Pinnelle, and she is a dear friend of mine. And I have to share that she is one of my first students in Speak Live Online. But before I get to introducing our wonderful guest today and telling you a little bit more about her, if you're new to the show, welcome. My name is Ellie. I'm the owner of ellieparvin.com, university professor, and your communication expert. I am also the soon to be author of Secrets to Successful Communication. And without further ado, I can't wait to tell you a little more about my guest, Karen, today. Karen is one of those incredible people. She is a health and wellness coach, a personal trainer, and a precision nutrition certified coach who serves women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. She helps them lose fat, gain muscle, and feel better through exercise and nutritional support. She guides her clients in creating and maintaining healthy lifestyle habits for long term success. Now, not only is my dear friend an incredible female entrepreneur, but she is a loving wife to her husband and a supportive mom to her two incredibly wonderful grown kids and her adorable little pug, who you'll see perusing the pages of her Instagram feeds. Now, she became a certified coach a while back, and I'm going to wait for her to share that story with you because it's quite an amazing journey and story. And one of the neat things about Karen is not only is she just a personal trainer and coach, she is certified in NASM, which is actually considered one of the top five best personal training certification programs available to people who want to become personal trainers. And she's also a certified corrective exercise specialist. And she's really learned how to grow and pivot and evolve, not during this time that we're going live here, during the time of coronavirus, but even prior to that. Now, without further ado, I, without hesitation, introduce you to my wonderful guest, Karen.
Thank you so much, Ellie. That was quite some introduction. I so appreciate that. Thank you so much for asking me to be on your show, and I'm very honored and excited. I started personal training about 9 years ago, and I really didn't have, it wasn't really in my plan. I was kind of at the point where my kids didn't need me as much, and I was kind of thinking, what is the next avenue for me to travel down? But at the same time, a friend of mine approached me and she wanted to do one of those 3-day breast cancer walks. And she wasn't working out or anything at the time. And she asked me if I would train her to have the endurance to be able to do this. And I said, of course I would. And she said, well, I want to pay you. And I said, well, I can't take your money because I'm not certified in anything, but I'd be more than happy to teach you everything that I know and get you on your way. And she said, and she really put her hand on my shoulder and she said, and looked me right in my face and she said, this is very serious. And I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, I just was really, really felt thrilled would approach me with something like this. And so I started researching all the different certifications. And I decided that if I was going to do it, I wanted to go with one that really mattered and one that no matter where this ended up taking me, I could use it at any gym. And they would think that I was well enough qualified and I, did my homework and everything. So I did go with NASM. And at the beginning, I just considered myself a trainer. I never really thought of myself as a coach. And I pretty much didn't really have my niche narrowed down. I pretty much trained anybody who wanted to train. And over the years, I took additional courses. I got additional, I was teaching boot camps. And so I had all these different experiences. And it kind of just pointed me in the direction of where I felt happiest and most comfortable. And that was training women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. when they're going through changes in their body and
Yeah.
they need, a little help to feel a little better and to get some better habits going. So that's where I am right now. And I used to, before all of this hit, train people here in my garage, or I would travel to them. But now we've kind of, like you had touched on, I started online training about 3 years ago because one of my good clients, she lived, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes away. So I would travel to her once a week and we'd do online training twice a week via Zoom. And so I kind of had that going a little bit before this all hit. And so now I kept all of my clients and we're doing live Zoom trainings.
I think
So,
that is amazing. And you, like I said, like I mentioned to people in the beginning, that you were one of my first students on in Speak Live Online. And we actually, one of my wishes for that program is that eventually everybody that's gone through Speak Live Online will be on the show. Like that is my unspoken goal. This is the first time I'm ever saying that, but in my dream, that's what I wish is that people that they're not they did when I met you, you were not doing live videos. And we
oh
met
no.
we did meet quite a few years back. We met quite a few years back through my old boss Shalene Johnson.
Uh-huh.
You were involved in the whole because you were in fitness involved in fitness. You were a personal trainer probably before I even met you.
Actually,
And
after.
after,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So then we've known each other almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So here's so we go way back through that. And then I had, after I had left Powder Blue, I got a speaking gig at the Orange County Health and Wellness, this organization through meetups.com contacted me and asked me to speak there. And I shared it on social media. And when I got there and I saw you in the audience, I was so floored because I was hiding and not really wanting a lot of people to show up because I was so nervous. But I have to say that seeing you in the audience, your smiling face, you were so supportive. And that had been the first time I had really ever got to see you outside of the fitness industry. And I knew right away, well, you're the kind of person that you're just that person that goes after things. You look to educate yourself, you look to grow, and you're open. And that's, I think that's so special. And that's probably why you're able to pivot and
Oh,
adjust. And so now you didn't do live video back then, but you obviously, and I've known this since I've met you, and I'm sure friends would say the same, that there's obviously something about you that you're so easy to connect to, and you care for others and you help others and you nurture others. And this is perhaps because it is hard to train for something like a 3-day cancer walk, and you want somebody that will push you but not push you to death. Especially if you're a person that hasn't been in shape. And do, did you think at that time, like, wow, did you ever ask her, what was it about me that you asked me instead of hiring someone else or asking someone
I
else?
I actually never asked her. I mean, I still train her to this day.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Um, but she was my friend before that anyway. But I think I don't know. Um, this just came up recently about they were comparing me to another trainer, and they're just saying, I think it's just that I try to come at a place of understanding of where they are and just help them figure out what their learning style is and help them get it that way. Um, I'm not Jillian Michaels where I'm gonna do 100 right now. That's not me at all. So people who need that don't come to me. I
Right.
don't have any people that like that kind of a thing. But it's just basically, like I said, meeting them where they are, learning what their likes and dislikes are as far as training. Because I spend a lot of time creating individual workouts for people and just learning what it is they like and don't like and just kind of approach it from that.
Right.
I failed a lot in the beginning and I learned from every failure. Um, I feel a lot more comfortable starting with new people now than I did, years ago, because you just learn with actually the failures are such great teaching tools. So
So true.
that's
So
helped me a
true.
lot too.
They say there's that quote that if they say if you're not failing, you're not learning and you're not growing.
Exactly.
And like I said, you've always been that person. I knew right then and there that you're that person that goes out. Now, you had many personal trainers and fitness people, they had this thing where, oh, I used to be overweight and then I started doing this and people started asking me what I do. Like they have that journey. But as long as I've known you, you and I, well, you're taller than me, of course, because most people are, but you're petite, you're fit, you seem to have a natural uh, you seem to be easily self-disciplining, which when it comes to health and fitness is rare. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like to go to the gym, or oh, I don't like to work out, but you're definitely that person that you enjoy being active.
I do very much. And really, it was stress management. That was
Mm-hmm.
my way of coping with anything, is I would go to the gym. And clients still, they look at me like, you like to do this? Like I have a lot of clients that really honestly do not like to work out. They don't. But being having an accountability partner and coming, having an appointment to come here, they do. And they get
Right.
through it. But it was just always my way to cope with stuff. And I've had clients tell me before, I can't wait till I get to your point where, you know, I look forward to it. And some of them actually do get there and they get really excited and they're like, oh, I know what you mean. And it makes me feel so much better. And so it's
Yeah.
exciting when they discover that.
I'm sure when you discover that, and then also for you to be able to guide people into new habits because you're holding them accountable, they're kind of forced to have this regular habit.
Uh-huh.
And you're not just fitness, you also have your nutritional license as well. And you do, you're trained in what precision nutrition, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And this is a special, like, just like you create individual trainings for people and programs, you're also creating individual, probably asking them questions and finding out what eating things work for them and testing that out and having them give you feedback. Like, once somebody gets into that routine, it's so much easier for them to maintain, but it's hard to get there without somebody who's trained, who knows what they're doing, and can help them stick to developing this new habit. And I know, like, when I met my husband, he didn't floss. He had never flossed. And the dentist kept telling him, "You should floss so your gums don't bleed." And I floss, like, I cannot not floss. I know that's a double negative, but if you ever see me, if you run into me at an event, I think when we met for tea that one time, like, I will always have floss on me because I don't like the feeling of stuff jammed between my teeth. It just is one of those things that I have that I just don't like it. And I floss before I go to bed. I floss in between meals if stuff is in between my teeth. And I've been known, if it's not too nice of a restaurant, and I can't excuse myself. I don't want to be that person that runs to the bathroom a million times, but I will just under the table just eat, eat, eat. But so my poor husband being with me all this time and watching me floss every night before I went to bed, he just eventually started flossing and he says he still doesn't like it, but he does it anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yes. There you go. There you go. It's just that
But
habit.
it takes a person, like, if I didn't exist, then he probably would still not be flossing. But you're that person. You're the flosser,
Yeah.
and you need somebody who enjoys fitness to keep you accountable and enjoys these things. And if you're passionate about it, they get to kind of feel your passion for it and it makes them excited to
Yes.
see
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
whether it's virtually. Now, a quick question, since I have known you since your transition into the virtual coaching, what was your feeling before, like doing live video? Like, did you ever think that that was something you were going to do before? And, what was your process to get comfortable with coaching virtually? Like, what was that experience like for you?
Well, I am very fortunate that, like I said, I had that client. So I was already doing it twice a week for about 3 years. And also, I have a little training app that when people train with me, I sign them up for the app, and that I made little workout video, like little exercise videos, and I put them all together for their workouts so that they know what to do. And so, actually, taking your course helped me with that big time. Being comfortable enough, because I'm demonstrating exercises, and I don't know really who I'm going to end up training and who's going to be seeing them. I mean, I started out very, very quiet. I'm a very quiet person. And so it's taken a lot of years and a lot of experience to get me to this point where I am right now. And so I felt a little bit comfortable when this all hit. I felt not sure if everybody was going to get on board with me to train live Zoom like this, because
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of this, not everybody knew how long it was going to go.
Sure.
And
And they may not even know how to use Zoom.
exactly. Yes, and that happened. And also, my communication to them is very different
Sure.
this than it is if they're here and
Right.
they can see me and we're right there. And with technology and getting, cut off, it happens all the time during my sessions, or they'll freeze.
If the bandwidth isn't high enough,
Yeah,
the upload speed is not high enough, it will freeze.
it
And
will
yeah.
freeze. And I've had people, I'm timing them doing plank and it will freeze.
And you're
And
like, wow, they're really going a long
yeah.
time.
And in the meantime, they're like, wow, how much longer?
Oh, that's can you imagine? Yeah. Wow, you're doing
Yeah,
so good
I'm
today.
impressed. Yes.
Meanwhile, they're already taking a nap and oh no, that's it's amazing how these obstacles happen and we just learn to roll with it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
but I think it's a testament to who you are, caring about the people that you're training, just trying to move beyond these obstacles
Hmm.
and say, hey, I know this is happening. It's going to be clunky, but I am here for you and we're going to do this. It's not going to look pretty at first, but we'll figure it out. And
Right.
because that's exactly why they come to you as a coach.
Well, thank you.
Coaches are problem solvers. Even in the most odd problems we have to solve, we just learn to pivot. And then there's the people that aren't like you that they're like up just closing. Like, I know some people that they've actually just completely stopped going on social media. They've completely stopped what they're doing instead of just continuing forward. And I'm not certain why. It must be something. I'm sure a neuro specialist would know what's happening up in there that they just go dark. But the reality is that things are going to always happen in the world. Have you ever been injured?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not big
That's a
major injuries, but
but you've been injured where it's like, well, I cannot work out for like
yes,
too few weeks.
yes,
Because I've
absolutely.
definitely been in that place before, and the first time experiencing an injury, it's all these kinds of things rush through our heads,
Yes.
right? And you think, oh, this is it. Because I am like you. I am the person that if I'm stressed out or I have anxiety over something, that I don't go to the freezer and reach for the vanilla ice cream. I'm going for a walk, going to the gym, going to a kickboxing class. Anything that could help me sweat is even the sweatier the better. And
Yes.
then if you get injured, what do you do when you can't go to those things?
Right.
And it becomes this whole learning lesson in how you're processing stress and how important fitness is to you. And then you realize, being able to move is important. So then you decide, okay, I want to do whatever I can to continue to do what I like to do.
Uh-huh.
And we start to become, honestly, I think injury is almost the best thing that could happen to someone because it teaches you to listen to your body when it's getting to that point of, well, that muscle's been tight, but I ignored it. I pushed through the pain. And women, I've read studies before in the past that they say women are biologically programmed to push through pain because of childbearing.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it's
It,
very true. It's true for myself. I've hurt my back a lot of times. I've learned, stretching is so important and everything. And when I'm in a good routine, I injure myself much less with the stretching and everything. But that's really interesting that you say that.
yeah, trust me, I looked up all this stuff because I was trying to not injure myself again. So, and the thing is, when I first started in fitness, I didn't have, well, I had the AFA group fitness personal training, but I was just all cardio all the time, jumping up and down, high impact all the time. I grew up doing, I don't know about you, but did you ever do the high low or cardio aerobics?
I did, yes.
There are so many things we should not be doing in those.
Yeah.
Like I look back now, I'm like, how did our like hips not fall out of our
Right.
sockets? I mean, really, that we did these things. I mean, the turning, like, how did we not have more twisted knees, more twisted ankles? I just think about the things that we did, and the nice thing is that you have all the training, like the deeper training that one needs to not injure people. So I mean, I'm sure that's a benefit that you can actually look, like you said, I love that you're an exercise correction specialist because so many injuries happen because people aren't doing things the right way.
Right, exactly. And I mean, most people have muscle imbalances just from everyday life. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Being
women in their,
right-handed, left-handed, right-legged, left-legged.
yeah, and women in their high heels, if they spend 8 hours a day in their heels, even like servers in restaurants carrying a heavy tray just on one side all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of names for this, but like text neck,
Oh
everybody's
my
like this all
gosh.
the time.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much
And
just from
text neck is terrible because you're pivoting your head forward and people don't realize how much the head weighs.
it does. Yes.
And it's the little minute, it's on a little joint. Now, I'm not like very fancy as you are, but it's on this tiny little joint that is basically balancing the movement of the head. The head is supposed to generally be neutral, but now we're like this a lot, and I can tell when I'm looking down too much.
Yeah.
And because I start to feel it here, and you need to be able to like massage these here. When I teach yoga, I do this opening up of the throat, the reverse compression of the back of the neck, but you have to be warmed up to do that so you don't mess anything up.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and, I've been trying to train myself to, this is actually a communication tip, that you hold the phone off to the side, because
Ah.
also when you look down, and not only is it bad for your neck, but you're also not making an eye contact with people, and it's the same thing as somebody walking and looking down. It sends the same message.
Uh-huh.
Whereas if you do this, it looks like you're the boss.
Ah, yeah, it does.
So, and you're less likely to run into a pole.
That's right. Very important.
Right? So, I mean, you're right. The whole text neck, and the thumbs, even, right? The thumb, that I'm sure some people have this thing
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're using one
Oh,
thumb and
yeah,
the way
yeah,
they
yeah,
hold the phone,
absolutely.
and I'm sure there's
That
all.
I didn't know what you were saying just because I'm one of these guys. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I still have a tiny phone, but I think my next one's going to be bigger and I won't be able to do this.
Yeah.
So that will be off the table. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so it's so great that you were able to transition. Um, how do you adjust for helping, like, correct their movements and their postures from the Zoom calls?
It's a lot more difficult. I have a client who started complaining about a pain in her arm since we've been doing Zoom. And
Okay.
so it's really tricky with training. I had to get
Right.
different insurance to cover it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. You
But
have to get different insurance because it's not, oh, because it's not under your roof?
yeah.
Wow.
So you have to get insurance that covers the virtual training. So it's a lot to think about.
That's really good. And you really covered it. Now, how did you know this?
um, well, I had taken a online trainer course back in the day that
Oh,
suggested it,
okay.
but I didn't really get it till I started training a bunch of people online.
Right.
But yeah, but it's very difficult to kind of watch people online. It really is. So I am
Sure.
looking forward to the day when everybody can come back here.
Hopefully
Um, yeah.
soon.
But I will say that all the clients that decided to do the Zoom thing, I've been working with them for a very long time, and I know
Right.
exactly how their body works. Not exactly, but I know how they look in certain things and how what things they have difficulty with and everything. I just know them very well so that I
Right.
feel comfortable doing it that way. I'm not sure if I would just take on a new client like this, off the bat. When people wanted to do online, I always wanted to meet with them in person first, just
Right.
because I really care and I don't want
Right.
them to hurt themselves.
Well,
So,
not just that, but you're also the kind of person as you want to understand people's expectations. So
oh,
I mean
yes.
there are those people out there that they'll hire you and they'll say things like, "I want to lose 50 pounds by this date," and yeah. And it's really not about. I mean, health and fitness is not about pounds per se. It's really about changing the lifestyle because it's
Exactly.
so easy to lose weight and get it back.
Oh, yeah.
If it goes fast, sometimes it comes back fast too.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
don't change the habits and things like that. And I've experienced that from high school. The tuna diet, the rice diet, the grapefruit diet. I mean, none of that sticks. So,
Right.
and it's not healthy. So it must be a really good way for you to understand what they want. They see you care. You can ask them, what's one question or what's the first question you ask them?
Well, we just talk about goals a lot. Well, we start there, but I mean, you really have to dig to figure out exactly what they want. So we do the whys, why, like they'll say a statement, I'll say why, and then they have to answer that and why, 5 times, and then you usually get to the root of it.
Interesting. So you
Yeah,
have to kind of dig, basically each why is a layer deeper or a layer back on that onion to get to the real reason.
yeah.
That's wonderful. So you are a coach. That's what coaches do. They ask why.
I actually feel comfortable saying now that I am a coach.
You are a coach. You were
Yeah,
already a coach the second you started training your friend for that 3-day cancer walk. But it takes us a long time
it does.
for us to accept that. And it has nothing to do with anybody telling us we're a coach. It has to do with us saying, okay, I'm a coach.
Yeah, right.
I dub myself coach.
Right.
So it's just one of I think that's fantastic, Karen. I love the way that you ask questions. I am curious, since you've been doing this a while, do you find that I know everybody has a different reason, but do you find that there's one reason that is more common than others, especially with your age group from the 40s and over? Like, do you find a common reason that people seek your help?
I think the majority of people, they just want to feel better. Really, it's just all about, and like you said, it's not even about pounds lost or whatever. It's just getting healthier and just feeling better. It's so important, just the way we feel about ourselves. And basically, that's the underlying reason why I think people initially come, and then we can define it additional things as well from there. But it's just all about feeling better. Everybody wants to feel good.
Everybody wants to feel good, but sometimes people don't think about taking care of their body and health and fitness to do that.
Right.
They
Exactly.
find other ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know what you mean. And that is kind of 40 is around that age where you start to notice, you have body changes, hormonal changes, things are not the same. Start stuff like cells don't regenerate as quickly. You have aches and pains that you kind of can't explain. I mean, I know for me now personally, sitting for a very long period of time, it's painful. Like it hurts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I am better off hiking for 12 hours than I am sitting for 12 hours. It's crazy. But,
Yeah.
just immobility doesn't feel good.
No.
And you're always so energetic. I'm okay. So Karen and I, we don't live that far from each other, and we both take spin classes at the same studio, Local Cycle. And I always want to go when she goes, but you go at what, 5:30 in the morning?
5:45.
Oh God! I mean, I'm still in REM sleep at 5:45. I mean, it's just it's yeah. I mean, you're just amazing. You have all this energy, and you start so early, and then you train, and and you still manage to when you're not doing this, you have like this wonderful garden in your backyard, and last year you were I like to call Karen the butterfly whisperer. And it was last year you nurtured butterflies, and I'm I actually wanted to ask you. I've always wanted to ask you a question about that, and so I'm kind of throwing an audible question in here. But did you feel like that process of like what did you learn from certain things that we do, they give us something that we didn't expect. They affect us or help us learn something special in a way we didn't expect. What did you learn from nurturing and raising those butterflies?
Well, I started doing it because I was at Home Depot and they had a big display out front that said butterfly plants. And there's a bunch of milkweed, tropical milkweed there. So I
Oh.
bought a bunch of plants and I was like, I love butterflies. So I bought a bunch of plants and I realized they had caterpillars on them that were about this big. And
Oh.
so I was just thrilled and so excited. And I went out there and they were like my little pets and I would watch them. And I learned a lot about this because one by one, all those caterpillars died. And I was researching it and I was like, what's going on? And it turns out that there's a fly that will lay eggs on it. And then the fly larvae end up killing them.
Oh
It was very sad and
no.
heartbreaking because this was
Oh
just like happened very fast. So,
so fast.
so what I did was uh, I bought a couple more milkweed plants and I researched what the eggs look like because monarch butterflies will only lay eggs on milkweed and they do it on the underside of the leaves. So I researched what the eggs looked like and then I got a bunch of these white mesh cages from Amazon and I harvested all the eggs. I cut them all off, these little branches, and I brought them inside because I just felt so bad that these poor little, cute little creatures were defenseless against these predators.
Now, are
So
they attacked when they're in the cocoon?
when there are caterpillars, the flies will land on them and lay the eggs on the caterpillar. So if they don't die before they spin the cocoon, the chrysalis sometimes happens during it or like within a day after. So they'll get as far as the chrysalis hanging there and then the larva will exit it. And I've seen them and it was terrifying.
That's so terrible. Oh my
so
gosh.
so anyway, so I just researched a bunch of stuff and so I was raising them inside in these cages. But when they turned into butterflies, it was just the most magical thing to me. It gives me so much joy And
Wow.
I'm not going to lie and say that all of the ones I brought in made it, because it just seemed like the farther it got in the season, because butterflies can get sick as well. And if the
Right.
butterfly is infected that laid the egg, the baby's going to be infected. So
Hmm.
sometimes they don't make it for that reason, but it just brought me so much joy. I think I raised maybe 10
Oh,
that
wow.
year. Yeah.
Wow. It is a delicate balance for just a monarch butterfly to become a butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, hearing that, that is so exciting. Hearing that actually makes me appreciate them even more when I see them, because sometimes you see them and you take for granted how much work it actually takes to evolve into this beautiful thing. And I guess that's, you know, life is a chance. I guess that's almost a metaphor for life, that, not all of us get to evolve into this butterfly that we're supposed to or we're destined to be.
Oh,
But,
yes.
but when we do, it's amazing.
Yes.
And
Oh,
when
that's
we're
beautiful.
on that journey, and that journey to get there, I think we're kind of all maybe journeying to become that butterfly, and stuff will happen along the way. Little larvae will land on us, but we're lucky enough that we could just,
I know.
we can just, grab a little hand sanitizer,
Yes.
put it on the COVID virus, and we can just grow and be happy and become butterflies.
Right. Ah.
Oh, that was not planned. But yeah, I loved watching your stories on Instagram where you would share the whole journey and the process. It felt like a biology lesson,
Yeah.
and and you're just so knowledgeable in it. Even when you were in the course and you were doing lives on sharing all the diet and exercise stuff, all the examples that you shared, like the plate, with the plate and the examples. It was just, I'm like, wow, this is so good. I need to step up my live video game.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You're just so wonderful. And I think you're just that person that when you decide you're going to do something, you do it. And
Pretty
you
much. Yeah, pretty much.
you plan and you prepare. And I cannot tell people this enough. The best way to get good at speaking and doing live videos and growing who you are is to plan, practice, and prepare ahead of time and practice some more, and then just do it. And then, just like you said, with every time that you've failed, it's been a learning lesson. It's just like that with everything.
Yes. Yes.
That's fantastic. So, as you've I know you've done a lot of trainings and everything, is there any fitness person or health and nutrition person that you've been inspired by or look up to?
Um, well, there are a lot, but I just want to say that the most influential person, I just want to say the Precision Nutrition Level 2 coaching class that I took was probably what grew me the most. And and even though I pick up stuff along the way every day, I'm always looking for little tidbits. I'm just saying, I just think that that one course groomed me into being a much better coach. And nothing's really compared to that. I mean, it was a year-long mentorship, and I had to write about 18 papers. And I mean, it was very intense. It was a lot of work.
Wow. Wow. That's basically a master's degree in nutrition.
It was like a lot of case studies we had to do. They pretty much made up the most unlikely client that could possibly walk into, through your door and say, how are you going to help this person? So, but I had a coach through that, and he helped me so much also.
Wow.
They would read all
Wow.
your papers, give you feedback. They teach you, they'd always pick out the bright spot. So that's what I do with my clients. No matter what's going on, I always pick out the bright spot, and it goes over really well.
That's a good teaching tactic, actually. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
We call it a sandwich.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, we do a sandwich. It's positive, improvement, positive.
Ah.
So you kind of, or sorry, improvements, I should say. Sometimes it's a very layered sandwich, but but the thing is when you say something positive in the beginning and the bright spot, you're you immediately open someone up to listen. If you're coming starting with the negative, people are they immediately they get defensive and they're no longer open to feedback and
Yeah.
listening. And so I think that's a brilliant coaching style and teaching style. And I think you're the kind of person that sees the bright spot anyway.
I
So
do. But you know what? A lot of people, they can't see it themselves. And I find that every time that something that seems so obvious to me and I'll just say it, they're like, huh? Really? And it just brings an awareness to them. It makes them, and I'm just speaking the truth, but it just, makes them feel a lot better. And
that's awesome. And that's why they are still hiring you as a coach and working with you and trying to get over the awkwardness of Zoom training. and
yeah.
and it is because you see that bright spot and you feel the best for them, and you're that just not that person as a coach. I want to emphasize the fact that you are that person in your real life as long as I've known you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
it shows in your family and your kids. They're always just, I love seeing your workout videos when your daughter joins you and your
Oh,
son
thank you.
and Wayne, your husband. I mean, it's just so fun to watch you guys. It just looks like such a fun, happy family. And that is a reflection of who you are
Oh, thank
as
you
a
so
person,
much.
both you and Wayne as parents, I should say. So you're welcome. But I just love what's one of the things that I love about you. And and I did want to ask you one more little thing. And I already know what it is, but I want you to share it. So you started this whole journey with your friend slash client at the time
Uh-huh.
to do the 3-day cancer walk.
Yes.
And how did that go?
Ha, she never took the walk.
She never did the walk. She
But I'm
never did
still
the walk.
here.
But
Yay.
you're still here. So I think, isn't that great that this all started with this helping someone? This all started with you helping and serving someone, and you figured out a way to help her. And then you decided, oh, I'm going to go get trained and I'm going to do this. And that this, even though she didn't do the walk, that now you're doing something you really love.
I am. I really, really am. And I am so grateful to have this my life. I mean, my life's work is my love, and it's such an honor to be able to help people and help them feel better about themselves. And it brings me a lot of joy. And it's so funny how it worked out.
That's
I
awesome.
still can't believe it.
That's such a cool story, and are you still friends with her?
Yes, I still
You
train
still
her.
train her.
Hmm.
That's amazing. She must be just in awe of you right now to see how far you've come and how you've grown. And
She
does
definitely knew me when I was very quiet and, you know, never imagined I'd be doing a live thing like this with you.
so amazing. It's so amazing, Karen. And you're fantastic. And, I want to honor your time. I'm so just excited that you're here. But I always ask my guests the same question at the very end is, how it's a communication TV. How do you define communication and what does it mean to you?
Hmm. I define communication as being able to express my heart to people. And maybe that's through an action or maybe it's a word. But it's just trying to let people know how I feel. And usually it's good things. I have a very positive outlook when I meet somebody. I really try to ignore um, anything that's not positive. So just being able to communicate with people what they mean to me and just to know that they're appreciated. And especially over the years, as I've gotten older, I just realized how important that is. That people just really, it just serves them so well when somebody says something nice to them or points out the bright spot or whatever.
Right.
So it's just really important to me to be able to learn how to do that. And it's different with each person, but to find kind of like the love language that works with them.
I mean, you
That's,
really do care about people and put people's happiness and joy as an important thing. And you are the kind of person that likes to speak on another person's level, communicate on another person's level, to see the bright side in them, or that bright light that in them that you see. And that's a I love that it's you want to be able to communicate from your heart. That is extremely powerful. And if we all started from that place, this world would be a very peaceful place
yeah.
as well. Although I think there's a lot of wonderful things that are coming out, from this time. Like, you see so many people supporting and helping others, and I think that's awesome. And you're helping your clients, and just always being a positive person, putting positive things out there on social media. And that's awesome. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so now, if people wanted to find you and follow you, where would you want me to send them?
Well, my
Where should they
Instagram,
go?
my Instagram is fit.tips.today. On Facebook, I'm Karen Pinnelle, personal trainer and online gym.
Okay. Karen Pinnelle, personal trainer, online gym. I'm going to pull that up right now. So, you guys, you can follow Karen here on Instagram. I highly recommend it. You follow her stories. She also has her business site, the obviously the Fit Tips Today. There's so many good things in there. Every time I scroll down, I'm like, ooh, that's interesting, or ooh, I love that bit of information. I'm always learning things from you that I didn't know.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you. I mean, I love the posts, like those corrective exercises, like all those videos. Those are fantastic. I love those.
Thank you.
And all the food tips and the diet tips, and they're just fantastic. Where do you usually live? More on Instagram or also on Facebook?
I usually post everything through Instagram and then it will go to my Facebook page.
Cool.
But I
And then
also have my personal page if anybody's interested in following my butterfly stories. I'm just
oh yeah,
Karen
that's
Pinnell
right.
on Instagram.
And then I want to put your website up there too, because it's actually really a great site as well. So, and is that so only your clients get your app, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. But yeah, if anybody is interested, or somebody that's in her market, that's 40 and over and just looking to feel better and just live a healthier life, Karen is your gal. Not that and I don't make any money from saying this. I'm not an affiliate. I'm just saying that because I know Karen so well, and you're just such a light,
Thank you
and
so much.
and you're just everybody who knows you adores you. I am one of your fans.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for just doing me the honor, and our audience the honor, of being our guest here today on Communication TV. And for all of you watching, whether it's the rebroadcast or live, I want to thank you again for your time and your ears and your eyes, and for joining us here today. Please like this, share this with your friends, or if you have any questions, if you're watching the rebroadcast, or even if you watch the live and have questions later, please feel free to comment and I will get back to them ASAP. And with that, I want to wish you all communication or communication for success, health, and happiness. Ciao for now.